Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Dan O'Connor. And today we are going to be talking about some narcissist personality disorder, NPD issues. We're going to be talking about some gaslighting issues. And I've got Ryan. Hello, Ryan. I apologize for kicking you off somehow. And I've got Michelle, our manager, out there helping me out today. So we are going to have a great show. Let's get started. Let me start out by answering some recent questions that I got. Okay. And by the way, Michelle, I have you on WhatsApp as well. Okay. So I'm going to start out in YouTube saying, I'm going to cut this out of the final version. We have some questions. Oh, by the way, Ryan, if you could give your questions, type them in the chat there to Michelle. She's going to swing them over to me because you were numero uno. Discard changes, yes. Okay, I apologize. 1 second. Comments. Here we go. Okay. Narcissist Nancy, you're welcome. Okay. When I walk, this is from Judo John 11, 3 hours ago. When I walk into work, my computer will point out what I did wrong the night before. Really? Huh. I can take it if she would be nicer about it. Are you talking about your coworker? Excuse me. I thought you were talking about your computer. My coworker will point out what I did wrong the night before. I can take it if she would be nicer about it. She makes offhanded comments while telling me we've been there for 2 years. Yet she will say, you need to look at the chains and get familiar with them. My customer needed another jump ring on it to make it lay flatter. Neither my customer nor I noticed. She came in the next day and got it fixed. At the moment, she complained that I put a piece of metal in the wrong tray. What can I do or say differently when this happens? I really want to get along. Okay, so Judo John 11 wants to get along with her coworker that every time she comes into work, criticizes her work from the day before. What I recommend normally in situations like that, and what I have found success in doing, is when a coworker is criticizing me or my work, I like to tell that coworker, if their name is Mary, say menacing Mary, I would say, Mary, I appreciate your concern. That said, I am very careful to only take instruction from my immediate supervisor or boss, because if they give me instruction and it is incorrect, I'm covered. If I follow your instruction and something doesn't go right, or it was for some reason not the up-to-date correct instruction, I have no one to blame but myself. So I appreciate it, but I'm going to ask you to stop criticizing my work because I can't do anything with your criticism or critique or whatever you call it. That's what I would tell her. And if she keeps it up, remind her, Mary, again, I appreciate your concern, but again, I can't do anything with it because I cannot nor should not take instruction from you. It can only come from one person. That person is not you. So while I appreciate it, I'm asking you to stop. Okay. It's easy for me if somebody asks me to do their work for them, I tell them to go blank off. It works so good they never ask again. Well, I always say, whatever works, keep using. Okay, here we go. So I'm beyond help. When you said I'm not going to cry, what's another coping statement? I said I'm not going to punch him in the face, Lord. Take the wheel. That is not really a properly formed coping statement. I'll tell you why. Coping statements are all about syntax. And syntax is the way that our brain needs a certain syntax for the information that we're giving it to have any effect, really. And so if we tell our brain this, now, by the way, I'm not a brain expert. I do not have these machines at home. If new research comes out in the future that contradicts what I'm about to say, that might happen. But I know that from personal experience and from the brain research and information that we have up to now, we have to give our brain information in a certain way so that it can be processed by the brain. In fact, my brother's out there today. Everyone give a shout out to Marty. And he and I both went to computer school when we were kids. When computers first came out, that was fun. And I remember the expression that they taught us, garbage in, garbage out. You have to write code a certain way for a computer to be able to process information. There are many different ways you can write within that code, but it must have the right syntax or it's garbage in, garbage out. And from what we have learned up until now, that's the same way our brain works. If I want to get any effect from the coping statements I'm using, instead of, for example, I heard you saying that, oh, where did it go? Oh, I heard you saying, I'm not going to punch him in the face. Oh, Lord, take the wheel. Let's break that down. So they want to, all of your coping statements have two critical components. Number one, they're positively phrased, not positive in terms of, oh, I need to stay positive and not negative. Positive in the sense that I need to tell my brain what I am, not what I'm not. And I need to tell it in present tense. So they need to be positive in the present. Therefore, a phrase such as, I'm not going to punch him in the face, oh Lord, take the wheel, doesn't really hit any of those marks. So instead of, I'm not going to punch him in the face, maybe I am in control. Right now, I'm in control. And instead of, oh Lord, take the wheel, I have control of this vehicle. So I am in control and I have the wheel, for example. So they have to be present in the positively phrased in the present. And then you have a chance of keeping emotions under control when otherwise you have none, if you're just feeding your brain garbage, garbage in, garbage out. So I hope that that answers your question. Think BAT 140. Mart and Michelle. Okay, so question. All righty, hold on one moment. I am ding. Okay, hey Marty. Okay, hi Dan, greetings from Arizona. Hi Sarah. Thank you for teaching me and giving me things a name and giving things a name such as danger phrases. You are welcome, because I'm guessing, Sarah, that you, excuse me, I didn't notice that. I'm cutting my head off. See that? I'm guessing that you are like me. So since Sarah brought it up, by the way, have we spoken before, Sarah? Sarah, did you watch that movie? Did you happen to see that movie about the people who lived on a bus and they went around with their identifying plant identification book, and they went around identifying plants? Did you ever see that movie? It was very empowering. And if you didn't see that plant bus people movie, maybe some of you have heard or read or are familiar with The Princess and the Golden Ball. And The Princess and the Golden Ball is about a princess who had a golden ball. And then she was out playing at the fountain one day and she dropped her golden ball in the well. And before the whole frog incident happened, Rumpelstiltskin popped up and was like, I'm going to steal your baby. And she was like, that's really strange. And he kept coming back to visit her and would visit her in the middle of the night going, I'm going to get your baby, And she's like, get away from me. Stop. You can't take my baby. Until finally, what happened? She learned his name and said, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin, Rumpelstiltskin. And poof, he disappeared. And I believe that that story has endured over the ages because it illustrates the point that when we have someone's name, when we know the name of someone or something, there's a shift in power. And now we have power over it, where until we learn its name, it has more power than we do generally. So thank you, Sarah. Let's learn the names of things, because it is true. If I know that that's not just, something that I want to avoid saying, but that's a danger phrase, or that's a power phrase, that's a transitional phrase, that's a navigational phrase, that's an exit line, that's a closing line, that is a desk script. That's when you know the names of things. Compared to people who do not know the names of things, it's like, how can you diagram a sentence if you don't know what a preposition is, and you don't know what a noun is, and you don't know what a verb is? It might not be the most exciting thing about English, but until you learn the names of things, you can't really work effectively with them. So I'm going to try to erase Michelle O'Connor's name from my mind. Okay. Hi, Marty. Carol says, yeah, everybody give a big shout out to Marty, because, he's a spotlight stealer, so we might as well fulfill his destiny. So, hello there, Dan. Hello, Rhonda. And Kat. Hi, yes, Kat. Please tell me what your question is. And Barbara. Hello from Jax. Hello. Question. What's a good opener icebreaker for a man to say to a woman he doesn't know? I'm assuming this is a romantic setting, Or is this just, for example, if you're in a like a work convention and you're wanting to speak to a female colleague? Is that it? Which one is it? Can't post comments to some destinations. Okay. I'm going to, for RK, I'm going to answer that question as if it is a romantic situation. All right. So, and then I'm going to get to Morpheus because he was the first one there and I cut him off accidentally. Sorry, Morpheus. We were just talking about this the other day where if I had to go up to, by the way, I did learn as a man, and as you can see, I'm very burly and I'm a brute, threatening force, especially to softer men such as my brother. I have learned that I must keep safety issues in mind for women, all women, no matter what, because that exists and I'm not as sensitive to it as a woman is. So I'm assuming that you're not meeting in an elevator. You're not meeting in a dark parking lot. So you're at a work convention. And when you come up to a woman, here is the absolute best opening line of all time, okay? And I'm going to go into the steps of it because it seems simple and it's not. You walk up to the woman, you extend your hand. Now, most people will say that they do this. They do not. So think about how you actually greet people. You walk up, you extend your hand and you say, "Hi, I'm Dan." You use your own name. "What's your name?" As you shake their hand, okay? So as you say, "Hi, I'm Dan, what's your name?" Then she says, "Well, hi Dan, I'm Rhonda." Step number 2 is you repeat their name and you say, "Rhonda," because no matter how simple their name appears to be, for example, if they say, "Hi, Dan, I'm Mary," and you were to say, "Mary," there will be times where they'll be like, "No, it's Nary with an N." And you'll say, "Okay, Nary." So you want to repeat the name, and that does a couple of different things for us. Number 1, it helps people who are, let's say, introverts or nervous get words out of their mouth and start speaking, because all you have to do is repeat the person's name and it clarifies their name. And what I want to do in this transaction here, in this, interaction, I want to use their name 3 times. And so when I say, "Hi, I'm Dan, what's your name?" And they say, "Mary," I say, "Mary?" Then they confirm it. "Yes, Mary." That's once. And then I say, "It's nice to meet you, Mary." Now that's twice. And then she'll say, "Oh, Dan, it's so nice to meet you too." And then you say, "Tell me, Mary." And you ask a real simple, neutral question. You're like, "Tell me, Mary, where are you from? Or what brings you here to the convention today?" And when you start asking questions, the first time you use their name, "Tell me, Mary, what brings you in here today?" So in that whole course of action, it was very easy to get the words out because they're going to be the same for every person that you meet. "Hi, I'm Dan. What's your name?" "Mary." "Mary?" "Yes, that's right. Did it sound unclear?" "It's nice to meet you, Mary. Tell me, Mary, what brings you here?" I've now used their name 3 times. And so not only does that warm them up, but it helps me remember what their name is. And people will be amazed at your recall skills, because when you repeat somebody's name 3 times, that helps you remember it again. And they'll be like, "Oh, this just feels so good." So that's a big chunk of it. And then when you are asking, questions, because if you're the person walking up and making conversation, you want to be the one asking the questions, just make sure that they are truly open-ended questions. Take whatever questions you would think of asking under normal circumstances, like, "Where are you from? Boy, this is crazy weather we're having," those types of things. And just make sure that they begin with the phrase, "Tell me about. What do you think about? How do you feel about?" And as long as you do that, if you look at the difference when you ask somebody, "So what do you do?" People will be like, "Oh, I'm in engineering." You go, "Okay." "Where do you work?" "Wells Fargo." "Oh, okay." "Is your boss here?" "Yes." "Oh, okay." If you were to instead say, "Well, Rhonda, it's nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit about what you do." People will be like, "Oh my God, what? Somebody actually, hello? Are you seeing me? Oh my God." It's like in the Sixth Sense, where the ghosts all of a sudden realize who can see them. That's what people feel like. And so when you say to people things instead of, "So where are you from? What do you do? Is your boss here? Tell me about where you're from. Tell me a little bit about what you do. Tell me about your boss." That alone is going to be 20 minutes of conversation. Then if you're still nervous, if you're a man, remember, this is what you want to do. If the conversation is going well, and this is a romantic, let's say that you have, you have interest in this person. As it's going well, you're 5 minutes into it, maybe, Do not wait for it to go south. Instead, pull a Costanza. And while it's riding high, you say, well, Rhonda, well, Mary, well, Josephine, it was nice to meet you. Have a good rest of the conference. I hope to see you around. Enjoy the rest of this conference. Maybe I'll see you later, whatever it may be. And you walk away. Because if you wait until there's that moment of awkward silence or something, that's what people will then walk away with. So just make sure once things start going well, that's when you say, well, it was really nice to meet you, Mary. Enjoy the rest of the conference. And if you want to see them later, give them your number. But that's what you want to do. And it will be so easy for you to make conversation with so many people. And people will be so impressed because you knew how to say, hi, I'm Dan. What's your name? Blankety blank. Oh, nice to meet you, blankety blank. Tell me blankety blank. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry I'm going off on this, but it's just the thing a lot of people need to know because somebody just asked me, how do you meet people? During that short interaction that we just had, take the opportunity when you can to use their name, because we've already used it 3 times normally. Use their name in a really familiar way that you, under normal circumstances, would only use with someone you're close to. For example, nice to meet you, Rhonda. Rhonda, did you see that presentation where they blah, blah, blah happened? Rhonda, I'm telling you. When you use somebody's name like that, Rhonda, are you saying that you're blah, blah, blah? So you use their name in that type of familiar way. Normally when you meet a professional, you're not going to be going, Rhonda. But if you do that, people will be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person is talking to me in such a familiar way, but not an inappropriate way, not a, intimate way, just a way that will throw people off and make them think, do I know you? You sound so familiar, and they'll love you. Okay, so I'm going to get to, I have to get to Morpheus. Okay, so let me grab a Morpheus's question because I think it was up here. Okay, from Morpheus. Here we go. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Okay, my wife, I love her. Oh, that's nice. Loves to read motivational books and speakers. As a consequence, sometimes her advice to me and our kids is superficial and uninformed and trite. How do I politely tell her, at least ask some questions before you throw around advice and maybe ensure that your advice is thoughtful and valuable rather than short, regurgitated proverbs before dishing it out? Well, also stop reading those motivational books and get some practical skills like Dan's verbal skills. Okay, Morpheus is obviously a wise and well-read and compassionate and fair man. So what happened to that? Okay. You know what I would do, Morpheus? I think it was Ryan is your name. I recommend when she is not using those phrases, when she's not dishing out that advice, when it's, when you're having a great conversation and she says something that inspires you because you had already mentioned how much you love her and what she means to you. So I'm sure that those moments will come quite frequently where she says something that just inspires you. And I would piggyback off of that and say something such, let's say her name is Louise. So Louise, I love the way you can do that. Just take an everyday situation and make it into something special. I respond really well to that. Not so much to the pop culture, to the pop psychology advice that you've been dishing out lately. I love the fact that you learn and grow and all of that. But in the future, if you give me more of this and less of that, I think our Sunday nights would go a lot more smoothly. Piggyback off of a really good experience that you're having with her and be like, that's what makes you special right there. Not somebody else's wisdom, and here's something you might want to remind her of in, a gentle way. 2 things. 1, Louise, you don't need anybody else's wisdom to help other people and be wise. You already have it all. And so while I think it's interesting when you quote other people, I think it's no better or no more inspirational than what comes straight from your heart, because I know you, and that's what inspires me. You, not other people. And, oh, wait a minute, there was another thing. There was one more thing. And in addition to that, you tell her, okay, so you tell her that it's her words that you want to hear. Oh, find a way when you're, again, not when she's giving the advice, not when she's giving the advice, but sometime when you are having a fun time over dinner, point out to her, like when somebody that you both are talking to walks away, see how we both think that she's or he's super intelligent, super kind, super whatever. It's because they didn't tell us that. They just let us discover that. And I love it when people let us discover what they know rather than just shoving it in your face because nobody wants to hear it. And that's pretty true unless you are signing up to go to a class. Nobody wants information thrown at them, and nor will they respond well to it. And so try to find a way to have that conversation where you just talk about the fact that people will only determine that other people are wise, funny, attractive, whatever, if they discover it, not if the other people tell them that. And maybe she will get the hint. But I happen to think that you, Ryan, will find the right way to tell her. Just I recommend doing it, and when you're having a great time and something really special about her and why you love her so much comes up, point that out, and that's what you're going to focus on, not the behavior that you want less of, and you'll be great. Yes, romantic. Okay, good. Then I would recommend this. Okay, hold on a minute. I just got another clue in that the man going up to the woman is actually a romantic situation. So in that case, I specifically recommend, oh gosh, okay, I'm going to make this real quick as I can. There is a science of the first few minutes when a man and a woman interact with one another, what occurs during those few moments that will increase or decrease. By the way, anybody who's in the waiting room here in the studio, I apologize. I don't know what I did to send out invitations to have you all come here. But in those first few moments when a man and a woman are, or when you know what, I do not know if this pertains to same sex because the studies that I've read have only been done between opposite sex couples. From my personal experience, I have seen this and I have used this in same-sex interactions. So I'm assuming it works the same way, but I just don't have the data to back that up. When a man and a woman first see one another, you know how if you're a woman, it generally tends to be you, or if you're the woman energy, the man will be looking at you and you'll be, talking with your friends or you'll be doing whatever, and you look over and there'll be this guy staring at you. So what happens at that very moment? Under normal circumstances, the woman will look away and be like, oh, geez, that guy's looking at me. That's when the games begin. And so you want to keep staring at the woman after she looks away. And you want to look at your watch. So you have to have a timepiece handy. And the clock starts at 30 seconds. If within the next 30 seconds, that woman finds an opportunity to make eye contact with you again. So this is all before you talk to her. You don't want to talk to her yet. She will find, if she's at all interested in having you come up and talk to her, she will find a way, she'll just be talking to her friends going, ding-a-ding-a-ding, oh, I just dropped something, oh, let me pick it up. And as she picks it up, she'll just make eye contact with you for just a second. You know what I mean? Or she'll just be, choo-hoo-hoo, and make eye contact with you for a second. If she's not interested, there's not a chance in hell she will make eye contact with you again. She'll be like, she'll see you looking at her. And then within the 30 seconds, she'll look over to her friends and be like, okay, don't look over there. Don't look over there. Don't look. And she will no way make eye contact with you. So if 30 seconds pass and there is no more eye contact, move on to the next target because she's off the table. It will not happen. If, however, you are maintaining the eye contact, so within that 30-second time frame, you do make it again. When she looks back at you and you make that eye contact, you want to do one of these. Just some smile, depending on your personality type. You might be like, hey, or you might just be like friendly smile, like I see you, but you want to let her know, I see you looking at me. Because when that happens, she'll be like, oh, geez, oh my God, he's on me. Okay, right? I mean, just being honest, that's what happens. So that's when, at that point, you want to then come up and talk to her. And using the same tactics we talked about before, it's a much, much quicker interaction. So it would be like, hi, I'm Dan, what's your name? And then she would, I'm Mary. Mary? Yes, Mary. Hello. Oh, it's nice to meet you, Mary. Tell me, what brings you in here tonight? Well, it's a singles bar. I'm single and want to drink. Okay, well, it's nice to meet you, Mary. I hope to see you around sometime. And you leave. Like after you introduce yourself to the person and you say, oh, excuse me, it is a different exit line. Are you ready? Are you ready? You had this. I'm going to give away the $5,000 closing line, closing the date deal. Okay, so you'd say, hi, Mary. You make small talk for just a moment. And then you say, well, Mary, I just wanted to come over and introduce myself when I first saw you, because when I saw you, I did a double take. It was really nice to meet you. Goodbye. And you leave, it was nice to meet you. You have my card. I hope to hear from you, whatever. And you skedaddle as fast as you can, because when you tell the average woman, I had to come over and introduce myself because when I first saw you, I couldn't help but do a double take, or it just took my breath away. So it was nice meeting you. And you walk away. They'll be like, wait, what? How come your breath was taken away, or why was there a double take with me? Then the games are totally on. So I'm not giving away anymore, but that's the answer. Okay. So for those of you who were like, it's true. Okay. The other teacher, what other teacher? Okay, wait a minute. The other teacher told me this is just a job, that students are, oh, wait a minute, Vanessa, I got to check out what more you wrote. Okay. So there's something else you must have written. Vanessa, how do I tell my boss I don't want to co-teach with the person that she put me with? Okay. If you have been stuck with a teacher who you do not believe is at your level, I hate to say this to you, but there may be a reason why that teacher is not at your level. There might be a reason why they are the worst of the bunch and you're the best. Sometimes we're not told why we are paired with that person. So before you say anything, I encourage you to consider that and think, why am I with this person? She's a total negative person. I'm not. She's a total downer. I'm not. Maybe that's part of the deal, and they want to watch you and see how you handle it. Maybe they want you to have an influence over this person. Maybe the universe conspired to do that. So I would recommend, before anything else, that you just consider that and think, how might I be able to bless this person? And if I am paired with somebody who I look at and think, what is wrong with you? Maybe that's the lesson. Okay. That said, let's say that you have determined that is not the lesson. You just have been paired incorrectly and you want out of this relationship. Then I would go to your boss. Let me see if you've written any more about that. Just to make sure that I'm not saying something that's irrelevant. Like my brother always does. Okay. She's just there for check. Okay. The other teacher told me this is just a job. How do I tell the principal I don't want to co-teach with her? Okay. I got it. So what I would do then is, first of all, go right to the person who has the most influence over the pairing of the teachers, if you can. And let that person know it is not about the other person. Because if you make it about the other person, I am assuming there will be more of a tendency to keep you stuck there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you would say, I just hate working with her, she's so negative. Not that you would say it like that, but if you were to give the impression they are unreasonable, they're horrible. If I were your principal, I can understand the thought process that would say, well, then it sounds like you're a perfect pair. So instead of making it about her, I would make it about, without getting into specifics at all, like I would specifically say things like, I'm not going to get into specifics. I don't want to badmouth my colleague. I don't want to say anything negative about my colleague. What I will say, though, is it is an impossible working environment for me to grow and to do the things that I want to do and to accomplish the things that I want to. We're simply not compatible. And I think while she's a lovely person, that happens sometimes. And this is one of those times. And I'm not requesting it. I need to be moved so that I can better serve you and our students. I can't do that here. And don't make it about her. That's what I recommend. Okay. Michelle, hold on. What's the best way to respond when someone who answers questions with, what do you want me to say? I would tell them the truth. Generally when you say to somebody, when you ask somebody a question and they say, what do you want me to say? But that's a puzzling response. Why would you say that? I wouldn't ask somebody, why would you say that? Are you a hustler? Are you what do you call it? A con man? Are you a bamboozler? It's not about what I want you to say. I want you to tell me the truth. So that would be the response. What do I want you to say? The truth, I think. I mean, unless this is like Family Feud, and then I'd want you to give me one of the top 10 answers on the board. Other than that, I can generally safely say it like the truth. Okay, Kat, oops. My question is, I tend to self-sabotage, and at work, and it's already 6:30. I got to hustle. I tend to self-sabotage at work, and I don't know why. I know my boss is giving many more projects to get me on the path to management. That's very insightful that you would know that, Kat, excuse me. My question is, I tend to self-sabotage at work, and I don't know why. I know my boss. Okay, where's the question? I know it's in there. I think that's what, didn't mean to send. Oh, let me continue. Okay, I got it. Hi, Dan and Marty. Hi, Michelle. Is that Michelle Specht? If so, I needed to talk to you. I've been looking for you. This is a psychic coincidence. Okay, to give more of a context, I was recently hired in March as a senior coordinator. Since then, I have been assigned to many crucial business changing projects, and for some reason, I freeze until right before deadline. You know, before we get to the question here, that tends to be the way I work and a lot of people work. That's one of the common ways that one of the personality types, like drivers, maybe you're a driver type, tends to do things. They will put it off and put it off and put it off because they really do work best under pressure. Other people who they might be paired with, like we were talking about a minute ago, that might drive them nuts and they don't get it because they don't work that way. That's how some people prefer to work and actually do their best work. So that's not a bad thing. Right before the deadline, I'm with you. That's you and I would be well or poorly matched. Okay, hold on. Thank you, Andrea. Whoa, voila. Thank you, Andrea. I use your techniques all the time and on my boss, vendors, friends, and family, especially the repetition 3 times, right? And my life is so much better. Thank you, Andrea. That's a lovely thing to say. Wizard of Words, I think you are fantastic. I think you're fantastic too. And Kat, okay, it has affected, I'm getting back to you now. It has affected my performance at work. As it has declined due to my self-sabotage, and I have almost missed deadlines. How can I stop doing this to myself? Oh, okay. So how can you stop putting things off to the last minute so that you don't let it get out of control and you miss deadlines? Boy, I have to say, Kat, I think that is a question that is best for a project management expert or a organizational expert, because I have not yet conquered that particular tendency of my own. So I would be just making things up and giving it to the other things. I know what I know and I know what I don't know, and this is I don't know. However, that said, my sister-in-law, Michelle, is a out of this world fantastic project manager. If anyone here is looking for a remote project manager, maybe part-time to work from home, she's phenomenal. And she has taught me many things. Although I still struggle because that's just my tendency, she has given me many tools to help me do just that and organize, prioritize, and get things done on time. So I would go to, if it's not my sister-in-law, Michelle O'Connor, Michelle at, I can't give her email, but if you leave a comment here, she will, I believe, answer with a couple of, maybe push you in the right directions with some good programs that can help you start to get things done more before the deadline, because that is her absolute gift to the world. Certainly isn't her taste in shoes. Okay, so I am very grateful. Wow, you're of course. RK, I have a job interview tomorrow. Ooh, Maria, you do. Remember to say, yes, I do have a question. Tell me, what concerns might you have or reasons why you might not give me this job? Make sure to ask that, okay? Ending these motivational books and getting some practical skills like Dan's. Well, I don't know. I think that's Michelle or Marty now repeating things. Everybody, I apologize. It is 6:33. We're going to be doing this every week, and I'm going to be doing some surprise ones in between those so that I can try to get some of these technical issues worked out. But I appreciate everybody's patience, and I'm going to go through these questions and get them done. Sometimes I get really excited about giving the right answers, and so it takes me longer than I'd anticipated, referring back to Kat's issue that I share. So I thank everybody for joining us here. I thank you for your support. Remember that if you are not a member, become a member, and you will have more opportunities to interact with us live. And it's not the subscribe button, it's the join button. And I think it's for like $5 a month. You'll get all sorts of private interactions and neat. You'll be on the top of every list. And Michelle, as I mentioned before, is a great prioritizer, and you will get your answer one way or another. So I appreciate everybody. I have to run and enjoy the rest of the evening, which I hope you're doing with people that you love. Make sure to tell them that. And remember, there's nothing you have to say that you can't say in a loving way. So for everybody here at Dan O'Connor Training, this is Dan O'Connor. Send a little love to Maggie. She's kind of hurting these days. Okay, bye, guys.